Well, going into this one then, it's final game. Let's get into picks and bans. Who will take it? Splyce or Luminosity? Cyno had a pretty good game last one. The one before that, it was weak, and I think the junglers are very impactful in this one still. But it's all about where the picks and bans go.
I'm interested that LG continues to be in first pick here. Now, Splyce had the loss in game 1, chose to stay in second pick. LG has a loss here, chooses to stay first pick, and they change up their bans already. They ban the NotGeno right away, and this tells me that they're probably either looking for the X-Ball or the Giannis that they have been banning in that first slot this whole time.
It will be the X-Baller once again. LG then with their next opportunity. Been a lot of Cerberus so far. Do they take that away or leave it? I mean, they seem to solve the equation that game.
No, I think this is a smart Thoth ban in this spot. keegsmate such a big presence in that last game that it's just a little bit too much. Now, Luminosity has to make a choice. Do they take the Giannis, give it to Keegs, or do they take the Terra that's been left open now?
It's going to be honest.
I think it's Terra, yeah, because Keegs has actually played a little bit of Giannis, but not that much. I think Splyce is absolutely going to take it here.
And are you really okay with not taking the Giannis away from TheBest in this scenario?
It feels a little bit bad, but I think it can work out. Luminosity has actually had some degree of success against Giannis players so far in Season 5, so it's not ideal. I'd rather TheBest play something else, but if it's open and you have the option between Terra and Giannis, if you've been consistently scrimming with Terra and winning with her, then I don't think it's a cardinal sin to give up the Giannis.
There's a lot of hesitation on locking that Giannis in. For a second, I was thinking, are they really not going to do this? Cerberus locked in alongside. Kiki more than likely to take that one, but Terra Cerberus definitely a little bit interchangeable, even though Terra's a little bit further from the truth these days in the solo lane. But the Agni for the mid lane, solid, true, tried and tested, and pretty solid against Giannis too.
Agni was the selection for Keegs in game 1, and he looked very good on that. And I love that Splyce goes straight to the Erlong Shen, not messing around now that NotGeno is banned away. Cyno still gets one of his priority picks, still gets one of his comfort selections that often ends up carrying games for Splyce.
Big important set for LG this. Obviously, they've not found a single set win so far, so taking the scalp of Splyce, who is sighting third, is very important to them here. At the same time, as the good news is they've already found one game, which is something more than what they've done so far this split.
This has definitely been a much more consistent Luminosity in this set, and just a more talented Luminosity, it feels like. The individual plays of Kiki and Weekend in game 1, and again in game 2, we can make some big plays. Keegs is having a great performance. This is going to be encouraging, I think, despite no matter what the outcome is for Luminosity, even if it's a bad one.
And I will say the one thing that happens with how SPL's played now, because both teams faced each other twice in a split, once in the first 3 weeks and then the second 3 weeks, you can start to see a tendency of teams that are good against knowing their opposition and what they're going to do versus teams that are not so good at dealing with the unusual in the first couple of weeks.
Exactly, and I think that Luminosity is actually, normally I'd say that they don't benefit from the second half. They're usually a better first half team. They were during the spring split, but this is the first week of that second half, and Luminosity looks better. Like they did learn from what Splyce did to them the first time.
Good to find a win so far. Kubakana and Ho Yi locked in now. The Kumba's a lot later than game 1 being picked up here and into the composition with this as well. A bit of CC will help them out. The Daji, not seen too often.
No, and I'm a little bit surprised with it here. It does provide a lot of CC to this composition for LG. Another beads burner that now you have to worry about. The chase potential is good, and Daji also knock-up immune during that 1,000 cuts, and a lot of what Erlong Shen does is all about knocking you up during his combo with that 72 transformations. Can't do that to Daji all the time, so I think that's why we're seeing it here.
Amaterasu, the final pick, which makes me want to ask, is he going to be Kumba solo, Amaterasu solo? We've seen them both before. If it's Armor into Cerberus, I can see that just because it's an easy farm-up lane.
That's true. I still think it's going to be Ama solo. It just, I don't know, it just feels a little bit too weird to give. Not that Divios won't play something like Kumba, but Aror loves Kumba too much to give it up. That's what I'm going with.
Where are we going then for the winner of this game?
I'm a believer in Splyce. I think they are a team that you have to worry about at the top of North America, and if they are a top-end team in North America, they won't lose to Luminosity.
He's a believer. Let's find out if the cast is a believers. Splyce for game 3, maybe?
We'll certainly see. Agro's a believer. I wanted to make the Shrek song reference, but
that's all you.
I don't know where to go.
I'm not jumping in on that one.
You don't want to see his face?
No.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's so rude.
No.
Ouch.
I want to see the game, Tom. I see his face every day.
I'm with Agro, though. I think that the Kumbhakarna, I would love to see it solo, but I think that it's so Aror that we're likely to see it in that support position. Who's going to win the game? That's the simplest question we can ask you guys at home. Totally, who's going to win the game?
I think Luminosity have a better composition.
Ooh.
I think Terra is just a great look overall, and whoever gets it should have a slight edge. Definitely in the team fights, as long as you can set up for your mid laner. Looking at these compositions, Agni with Terra, a lot of damage follow-up. You got the root into the stun. Clout can make it rain with more stuns to apply a slow. I love Luminosity's team fighting potential. Splyce is more of like catch someone off guard, get an early pick, and get out. They have mobility between Amaterasu and Giannis, so if they do get into the late game, that could be troublesome for LG.
My one concern is TheBest on Giannis, which is kind of funny to say, but just the Giannis pick in general, I think is interesting. Cyno has a ton of setup. Divios has a ton of setup. Aror, ton of setup. CycloneSpin, not the latest of late game hunters. And TheBest, I mean, Unstable Vortex is what he does, right?
Sure.
I feel like I would have preferred a more straightforward mage, perhaps, than the Giannis. But if Giannis can provide the damage numbers required, then I love this composition because of how much setup it includes.
He'll probably go KronosPen it immediately after the boots to get that 40% cooldown reduction. Splyce are not stopping this invade strategy. They force the speed buff to be stopped.
Yep. And here's going to be the response from TheBest, able to cut down Divios just a little bit. Or excuse me, Kiki.
The bleed happening a little bit, but Splyce are just going to... This is their strategy, man. They're going to wait and wait and wait and prevent you from getting your own speed buff. This could give enough time for Cyno to steal away the enemy blue. Kiki taking all those shots from Divios. Once you hit the same target 3 times as Amaterasu, you apply a 10% damage amplification debuff.
Divios now trying to provide help. Can't though, weaken. Taking down Cyno, and totally you do not look very happy.
I mean, it's a speed buff dodgy. Of course she's going to get back there quick enough. The body blocks was just perfect from Kiki. This level 1 Erlong Shen. Cyno relies on it a little bit too heavily.
So, remember last time when I said Cyno, you don't get to taunt there? Weaken taunted 800 times.
Clout taunting a little bit while stealing the purple buff.
I'm so bad. There are so many salty Solomons in chat right now, and I am all about it. Luminosity Gaming, they fight with flair. And I love it, Toli. I love it, Toli. I love it, Toli.
Well, they need to be able to secure this win if they really want to taunt to get their first set victory. You can taunt all you want, but you got to let the record speak for itself. Sure, they're winning this early game 2 minutes in, but tell me what they're doing 20 minutes from now.
Big point, big point, big point. NotGeno. Just going to be controlled a little bit. No big deal right there.
Doing good. Forcing out escapes is always a good idea as well. We don't really get a chance to see that in its limelight. Now, that was just a small foreshadowing of what's to happen with the Terra in the later stages when there's an Agni about to chase them down as well. And when you're forcing both a Hachiman and a Kumakarna out of the action, the rest of the team fight should be relatively clean as keegsmate trying to get to that level 5 marker to make his impact.
Got to get that ultimate online. Keegs with the Agni. The old Magikarp Gyarados conversation here. TheBest trying to run him down, though. Daji. His character was like top pick, top ban at the beginning of the split. Beginning of the season, rather. But we haven't seen too much of her in the summer split.
It's not necessarily because of any sort of buffs or debuffs, honestly. It's just teams figuring out how to really deal with her. You just kind of collapse. You force her in sticky situations. She can commit very hard. But more importantly is her ability to escape. You get into the ultimate, you don't apply any chains, and then you just blink away. But that's not Weaken's intent here. He wants to be very aggressive and have the beads just in case Divios is there or Aror is there to follow up. Those frontliners have a lot of control out of Splyce, and the Dodgy that can be very vulnerable to it is looking for the defense. And that's why there's just better options. Being able to maneuver in and out of the action is something that Dodgy does well, but other gods does it better.
Weaken still sticking to her, though. I do like that decision from him to go ahead and continue his nonsense. TheBest here going to get jumped on by Weaken, actually. The portal not going to be...
Just helping Cyno clear their own speed buff.
Nice. I like it.
Min-maxing. Escaping and assisting at the same time. Geno still Probably going to be looking to play aggressive on this dual lane side. Not able to steal the secondary purple buff. Normally when you have an advantage, such as LG, you look for a consistent game plan. Whether it's consistent blue buff invades, consistent purple buff invades, but just controlling the neutral camps is not realistically enough to maintain an advantage going into the goal theory. Something else has to happen.
Yeah, you got to have control of a couple of other things. Usually the roster, you want to find at least one pick, usually two, before you commit to these early game gold furies. Aror gets his back stopped. That's kind of funny. Now going aggressive. Gets the yawn onto Geno. Pops an ultimate in response, but Aror sends it to the sky. Cyclone on the horse is looking to put him in the ground, but he can't find it. Walks out of the suns. Aror in trouble in the sleep. And here comes Keeks. Here comes Weekend. Luminosity as a whole collapses, and the dual lane falls down. First blood +2 equals 3 kills for LG.
That play brought to you by Geno being annoying, stunning out Aror during the back. Aror sitting at level 5, CycloneSpin at level 5, sees the level 4 Geno and Clout. He's like, you what, mate? All of a sudden goes in on them, and then they forget that their own wave is still there, but that wave actually hurt them.
Yep.
Because normally you want to use your wave to body block, use that wave to just absorb some shots, but that wave gave level 5 to Geno and Clout actually was ignoring the team fight to kill the archer so that he can get the Suns. He needed that very last archer to go down to get the Suns on both Aror and Cyclone.
Got him. Clean stuff there, man. Keegsmate eventually gets the left side harpies.
And honestly, Aror was very close to stopping that dash from Geno. If that happens like maybe a 10th of a second earlier, the monolith doesn't crash and break through, doesn't apply the dots, doesn't kill the minions to allow the level 5 play from Geno and Clout.
All the butterfly effect.
All the little small things. If he was just a 10th of a second faster.
All every single one of them. Keegsmate level 7 now on the Agni, certainly going to be able to make a large impact here. Going the penetration boots. You know, a lot of time when we saw the changes to the boots, totally, a lot of us just said, well, cooldown boots are going to be just de facto stronger.
Oh, the body blocks. Are you kidding me? Weekend making it happen onto Best.
Wow. I apologize. Did not expect that. Last time we saw that gank, right on through the portal, no problem.
Well, that's now going to be a different story as Weekend gets higher level. Able to do way more burst damage. And look at this 7-minute gold fury from LG.
Yeah, it's a hard commit, hard rush, and hard to deal with if you're Splyce. Nice job from LG pushing themselves up even higher. 2,300. And we talk about relative gold leads from time to time here, Toli. There's a sort of inflation as the game goes on, right? 2,200 gold lead in 7 minutes.
Impressive stuff.
It's a very big one.
We were asking the question of what LG is going to do by having this advantage. What is their consistent game plan? And that's focusing out TheBest, apparently. They're ignoring these side lane buffs after the first blood they had onto Cyno. It was Aror and CycloneSpin. They got a little too ahead of themselves, getting punished by the rotation from both Weekend and Keegsmate. And with these 4 kills, LG just snap react to this gold fury. Great stuff from this bottom-seeded North American team.
Yeah, Splyce, on the other hand, no slouches themselves, but Luminosity Gaming. I'm with you, Toli, and I've said it a number of times. It's somebody has to be last. But if we were a bigger league, Divios getting aggressed on, should get out of here. Chain 1, chain 2, chain 3 grabs, and that could be the end of Big D.
Third time's the charm. That's all it took. Zoning ultimate. The first 2 chains forces actually Divios to go backwards. Whether or not that third chain even connected, Kiki's going to follow up with some damage.
Yeah.
It would have positioned him for getting hit by the Stygian Torment, and that play still happens the same exact way.
I agree. I'm If this was a large league, Luminosity would not be last. Their gameplay is very strong. But somebody's got to be 6th, and so here they sit. Cyno and Aror trying to deal with what's going on here. TheBest with the aggressive portal. And the doggo going to jump up in here. TheBest finds a way out again. Aror now trying to figure things out. So many portals. I don't think anybody knows where anybody is right now.
Divios.
Luminosity Gaming defending their own jungle.
Divios was hunting for a week and taking the portal from TheBest, trying to make something happen, anything to put Splyce on the board, but it's Best on the retreat from a Terra. Close was Agni, but not having the bombs just now coming off cooldown.
Clout, meanwhile, just looking for the tier 1 tower. The old PvE play. Not a bad look for the Young Hunter.
Last time it was CycloneSpin that had the advantage in lane. This time it's all Clout. More stacks on the Devourer's gauntlets. More mobility with the tier 2 shoes. Able to really apply the pressure onto the Hashimon when it matters. And even getting a red buff for himself. We could see a solo kill soon, or maybe some denial of experience in gold. Actually, no. Red buff, not going to Clout.
Nope. Not quite. Did Vedium play on that denial team?
I only know a Clout. Who is Vedium?
Gosh, Tolly, you're the worst. Divios being body blocked.
It's so good.
Find his tower.
It's so good, man. The dodgy, people forget it. Gods come in and out of the favor, but that ability, giving you extra movement speed, being able to position yourself like that, because when you use your third ability, the Trickster Spirit, you turn around after you activate it so that you can position yourself behind the enemy character. And then you just use that 1,000 cuts anyway with the, how much mobility is it?
It's a whole bunch.
It's a whole bunch, actually.
40% increased movement speed. P.S. And the part that people always forget about is the fact that she's mitigating damage if you hit her from behind. Well, that ability's active. That's a big, big deal. People forget about that. And so when she's running away, she has some extra help.
Not only that, it's just immune to slows, immune to knockouts. It's very difficult to really pinpoint her down. And if Divios doesn't have his ultimate, doesn't have his silence, that damage from Weaken is going to be in full force.
Yeah, got to watch out for that one. 5-zip right now for Luminosity Gaming, up about 2,000 gold, give or take, wave to wave. And this team has been very, very successful in the early moments of game number 3. I love the way Hindu painted it as well. Game number 1, Divios fed. Game number 2, Divios did well. Splyce, do they live or die on Divios?
No, they definitely don't, but LG can certainly thrive on abusing one member on the opposing field that is struggling, and that's what happened. Kiki got the full benefit of Divios' abuse, and they were able to just out-rotate them for the early goal furies. I think the first one of that game was around 13.5 minutes. This game, LG still getting up to a great start with about a 6.5 minute goal fury.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that's a good call. Clout misses everything, so he jumps away to safety. Blink forward from Aror, looking for control of one. Geno, though, is in trouble. Causing trouble, on the other hand.
The bomb stun from Keegs was perfect to prevent that initial route from Aror, allowing more freedom for Geno to just kind of run around there. Clout stealing the red buff. And that was smart for Clout to not take that little 1v1 on the left side. Not because he's going to get outplayed by CycloneSpin, but he has to respect the global pressure from TheBest.
Well, now he's going to take the 1v1 relatively low as we can help out. Cyno comes over, makes the rotation. First time we've really heard about the Arlong Shen
There's
this
the best.
game. TheBest coming through. One shot will do it. Waits up. Shotgun. And Cyno dies, but so does Clout. Weaken could be next, and he will be. CycloneSpin finds the second kill. Divios still on the run here, and Splyce looking for the all-out aggression. Luminosity have less players.
They have the mobility, this Giannis and Amaterasu. They're going to chase them down to the end of the world. Geno going to get rooted by Aror, but the stun from the Terra prevents any follow-up. It's now Aror that's in trouble.
Yeah, he's way too deep behind enemy lines. Aror gets bomb stunned. And Geno going to combine with a little bit of help, but Kiki tosses players in the wrong spot. Now Kiki is in the wrong spot.
The damage out to CycloneSpin right before Kiki dies, punishing his former teammate for his transgressions is TheBest. Takes his own portal. It's really difficult to catch the Giannis and the Amaterasu, but at the end of the day, once all the smoke clears up, it was a 2-for-3 favoring LG. Oh no, sorry, favoring Splyce.
Out of control here. Luminosity still maintaining the lead, but those are the plays you've got to make as a team that's trailing, Tolfred. You got to be able to find those wins somewhere. Splyce able to do there. Not there, though. Luminosity Gaming get the Gold Fury. Paid in advance by their team fight that we just saw. Geno on the run. Nice dodge. That was a really hot dodge. I don't think it's going to save Geno, But I really liked how he juked him out there.
Buys the time, though. The stun is going to be applied. It forces TheBest into an awkward position. Clout with a nice ricochet between and behind the goal here is weakened. Actually blinks away, despite having the Mad Guy's Cloak, which would have prevented the root.
Ooh, Aror misses the ultimate, but still gets the beads. Clout jumps over the wall, and
he's
Cyno's
still
gonna
alive.
Chase him.
Finally.
Geno falls down. So does Cyno. 1 for 1 so far. Big ultimate out of the doggo.
Clout
could save Clout.
That's exactly why he lived, because of every little thing that happened. Having to dive that tier 1 tower to guarantee the kill onto Geno. More time was invested to kill the Guardian. Response kill onto the enemy jungle. Luminosity getting the favorable exchange into that one.
Yeah, that one certainly hurt a little bit. 9-4. Luminosity with another objective. But now it's time to look towards the right side of the map. I think the Gold Fury will probably still see 1 or 2 more. The first one taken in about 7 minutes. Second one taken at 14. But as we get later and later into the game, the Fire Giant going to be more of an option. And Weaken excels at being able to kill objectives very well on the dodgy. The hot hands, I don't know what the official term is. I always call the passive the hot hands. The dot damage that leads up, the bleed damage is really big.
The Torture Blades passive definitely does a lot of damage. And with the level differential onto Cyno, no physical defense right now on this Erlang Shen, it's very easy to abuse that fact. Having a little bit of penetration, a little bit of cooldown reduction, gives him all the edge he needs. Working on an additional one, probably going to be the Brawler's Beat Stick, just to get some anti-healing. So that way Cyno doesn't get a full response heal with that ultimate.
Left side, purple buff invade. Luminosity looking for the fight here. Keeks able to find a stun. Cyno going to knock players up, though. The ultimate going to be used on top of Keeks. CycloneSpin able to cut him down after Weaken cuts down the jungler. Run and tell that. Clout gets kill. Cyno and CycloneSpin going to sit down.
CycloneSpin a little bit too deep. Needed to find a response kill, but sacrificing himself could give LG a window to start sieging towers. When you don't have to worry about this long-range Hachiman shots, makes it that much easier for LG now. They're going for both Tier 1 mid and Tier 1 duo at the same time.
Interesting approach. Auror's going to show up and might be able to shut down Clout. But I think mid lane, different story.
They
Geno not really has the damage.
They guaranteed to get one of those, and they got the dual lane. It was only Aror. The dash from Divios off the mark, but forced out into the ultimate. And without the Monolith root, you're not looking for the kill. Divios is just trying to buy time.
Divios is doing just that. He's occupying the time of these two tanky characters.
He takes less damage than he'll heal up at this point. Between both Breastplate of Valor and Genji's Guard sitting at 30% cooldown reduction, this is a well-calculated aggression. Keep in mind what he did in game number 1. He was 1-on-3 on the Hercules. Or was that game number 2? Game number 2. Yeah, because he was playing the Hades.
Game 1 was Hades, where he did poorly, and Luminosity finds the victory. Game number 2, Divios was piloting his signature Hercules.
The Hercules, when he was 1v3 and still finds the kill. He can do that with almost any character once he understands the power spike play. And this is Amaterasu's power spike. That level 16, you got the maxed out aura for the crazy burst of health every time you change stances.
Divios is the type of guy, and Divios is the guy that sits there in jungle practice and will just look at numbers all day, and this is the result is the ability to understand the finer points of the character, to understand your power spikes extremely well. Because I think you could look at most characters and be like, when I put 5 points in it, it does a lot. But understanding the finer points that you really break down so eloquently, Tolly, I think is something that Divios excels at. And something that might not be unique, but certainly something that allows him to be as powerful as he is.
The only thing he really has to worry about is the Hou-Yi. If the Hou-Yi is not present in these team fights, without marking the Golden Crow, Divios is free to do what he wants. He's just going to be able to sustain like an absolute beast. And that's going to be problematic for LG if Clout gets zoned out heavily in these team fights.
Yeah, I got to keep an eye on the Hunter. He's been such a big part of what allows his team to be successful. Luminosity there. Clout number actually nowhere near the top on this Hou-Yi. Although I suppose that's representative of the character itself. A little bit late game. So as we get closer to that late game, could be turning up, I suppose.
Especially if Divios continues to play as aggressively as he was just in the mid lane. So far, Luminosity with both Gold Furies. One around almost 7 and one around 13. Trying to make their third one happen as Clout gets the Monolith heal from Geno, using his Devil Gloves to top himself off.
Does
Splyce
know?
Try to go in. They do know.
Oh, through space and time! Gold Fury so low, and Auror's going to look for it, but Luminosity steal it back anyway. Gold Fury goes to Luminosity Gaming. The best
dies.
Goes to Kiki, and LG looking for more.
It's a 5-on-4 LG going on in. Stun onto Clout. Shell being popped with the knockup, but it's going to be attention onto Cyno. Doesn't even get the heal off the taunt.
Wow.
And with the rest of the 3 Splyce members, they need to find the defense.
LG's got a baker's dozen, not done. Looking for the tier 1 tower on top of Aror. And Geno, the #1 stunner, getting things done from the support position. Ain't nothing juvenile about that. LG looking for the big boy plays and heading to the Fire Giant.
Geno just rolled his D20 and came out successful with the last hit onto Aror. When there's 4 other teammates around you and everyone's hitting that Kumbhakarna, man, feels good when you're a support and still get it.
You know what? It's, well, right now, Divios actually going to disrupt this Fire Giant. Stunned again.
Not for long.
Stunned again. Clout, 3 kills without a death. 4, 1, and 5 in total. The Canadian Hunter
through
on a
space
tear.
and time, not time well enough to steal that objective. LG with a 20-minute Fire Giant walking out like bandits, 15-5.
Just nice play from Luminosity Gaming and Tolly. And it's an interesting game.
I would agree with you, Tom. LG able to make it happen despite losing game #1 in spectacular fashion, mind you.
Yeah, no, this was I'm enthralled right now. This is the matchup I wanted, and I'm getting it. I'm getting my popcorn game, man. These are one of the games. These are the games that I'm so excited to do what I do, and you know, thank you guys out there for watching, because I wanted nothing more than to watch LG play Splyce today. I thought this was going to be a barn burner no matter what happened, and Splyce, Luminosity, still, it ain't over till the Bacchus sinks. Splyce can certainly walk their way back into this one. 7,000 gold, not that much.
It's also impressive to see them just kind of switch up their picks every now and then. To go from a Hunbat into this Dajin game #3, game #2, just playing the Willish Weekend with a very diverse god pool. And when Weekend thrives in this environment, the rest of his teammates, you could just feel their energy. Once Weekend got his own speed buff to punish Cyno from invading the blue buff and taunts, what happens on the left? Clout steals the purple, doesn't find a kill, but he taunts for himself.
Well, you asked me at 2 minutes. I said, this LG team's going off, right? 3 kills. You said to me,
what did they do 20 minutes later?
20 minutes later. Look at what they're doing 20 minutes later.
They're doing the stuff and the things that they need to do.
The things and the stuff, for sure.
Weekend.
You watched a lot of Bartcasts, didn't you?
Weekend in the back line tries to go on to TheBest, but I think he missed that one basic attack to apply the bleed. Gonna get stunned out, but not really worried too much.
Why the beads? Why the beads? I don't like the beads. Why the beads? Why you use the beads?
Doesn't matter about the beads, because you need to worry about the left side. Phoenix Siege. Cyno gonna try to make the distraction through space and time being used. They're trying to focus out Clout. Slow as well. His jump's down, but the return fire.
Cyno finds it with the spear. Nice play there from Cyno on Naja's still his signature character for me, but #2 is absolutely, if we're playing a tag fighter like Tekken Tag, it's gonna be Naja and Arlong Shen for Cyno Show.
21 minutes later, and LG dropped the ball by splitting the left side Phoenix for no reason whatsoever.
When you're right, Tully. Although, I don't think the odds on Luminosity doing something silly in the late moments of a game are really that different.
You just got to respect the Giannis.
I think you could depend on that one.
If it's any other mid-mage besides Giannis, Luminosity still have a marginal room for error. But because you're dealing with a Giannis and an Amaterasu, that mobility is going to chase you to the end of the world. So you have to make every play pinpoint accuracy, bullseye on the board.
Kiki has red buff. Very interesting look here. I think he just picked it up in the scrum over there by the pit, but it's still funny to see a Cerberus with red.
Still does a lot of damage with that paralyzing spit. Divios between a rock and a hard place, trying to get out of there. Has a lot of mobility. The interception by Weekend with the trickster spirit.
So hot, man. Very, very nice play there coming out from Weekend.
That timing. Couldn't be perfect. Couldn't be more perfect.
Gold Fury, good timing here from Splyce as they're just sitting here waiting. Should be able to kill it before LG even show up.
No, because CycloneSpin wasn't there as it started. It was only Best and Cyno. Cyno does a lot of damage in his own right, but not as much as Cyclone will.
Weekend now going to start at the Gold Fury. Luminosity Gaming up 10. Bow wow. 25 minutes on this one, and Gold Fury going to be lining the pockets of LG nice and easily.
All the objectives are commanded by the Order side this game. Still making it happen in the gold department, but they're going to need to start to seal the fate with some of these Phoenixes if they want to get their first set victory of the SPL Summer Split in Season 5.
It's been pretty rough. It's absolutely been an uphill battle for Luminosity. Interesting what Ryan said as well. He said that Splyce is a top-end team, and top-end teams don't lose to Luminosity. So Splyce, go ahead and lose this one. Do you think that's entirely representative? Does that stop the upward motion of Splyce as we've watched them ascend to become one of these teams we're talking about?
Hard to say. Honestly, anything can happen in any given day in North America and Europe, SPL, to be fair.
I think NA is much more volatile.
I definitely agree with you.
Yeah.
So I don't think this will stop the momentum from Splyce. I think this will definitely hurt them from hitting top 2. Absolutely, is Divios getting focused. Palo being used. Divios gets pulled back in.
Keegsmate. Wonderful collapse onto the solo lane. Hercules. Or the Amaterasu. Aror going to find the knockup, but Aror also going to find his death here. Man, I'm close to saying forget the Fire Giant. But when you're this close, you go for the Fire Giant. Luminosity Gaming handled that team fight so well.
LG are doing a good job avoiding of getting picked in the jungle out of Splyce's composition. The strengths and weaknesses, if you dissect these compositions, Splyce are looking for the picks with the Giannis, with the Amaterasu. LG are a pure team fighting composition. A huge amount of AoE from Keegs, Geno, Agni, Terra combination. You add Cerberus, Huyi to the mix. It doesn't surprise me that LG are dominating this game.
What's really problematic for me is Divios, is the Giannis selection again. Just look at the player damage right quick. I mean, Giannis sitting there at 6,300, the Arlong Shen jungle at 5,300. There's a ton of setup and nobody to be the finisher. Divios here are going to get pulled and pushed and well,
deleted.
Killed.
Absolutely deleted.
On the top.
And Aror is next to follow. They fell first in the last skirmish, yet again in the second. Through space and time, does hit Clout, but it doesn't matter. Cyno is dead. All 3 frontliners of Splyce are gone, exposing the backline as CycloneSpin is the double kill for Weekend.
Just a great play from Weekend. 10, 1, and 9. You know what? This is just a great game. Luminosity going to take this one, and this is from his teammates. This is his wedding gift. That's what this is. Weekend, the newlywed, gets number 11. The deicide end the game. 28 minutes, and Luminosity Gaming take this one 23-7.
Being a part of 20 of the 23 kills, Weekend making it happen, and
This is
Splyce getting punished for their level 1 play. They kept Weekend at bay for a speed run for so long that they didn't really respect his ability to go back into the blue buff when Cyno was getting it. Beautiful body blocks by Kiki.
What I liked here the most about the Weekend plays was that he was all over the map. He made the right decisions on who to jump on, really made use of his teammates, just great stuff. Weekend has a lot of detractors out there. I don't think that's any secret. But those people forget that although inconsistent, He has these types of games, and you can never count that out.
He sees and smells the blood in the distance, and he just thrives off of it.
Yeah.
Abusing Divios and some of these solo lane ganks, making the rotation happen in the Gold Furies. Whoever makes the call, probably Weekend, is just patting themselves on the back after that one.
Very, very true. Let us know who you think the MVP is. We've painted Weekend in a great light, but keegsmate also did a fantastic job. A number of performers on LG. Hindu, Aggro, break her down.
Thanks a lot, casters. And finally, Luminosity have found their first set win of the summer split.
It's about time with how well they played at moments, but hasn't been able to string in together a full games or full sets of high-level play. Weekend 11-1-9. What else can you say? I mean,
dodgy number one.
Dodgy number one. Weekend number one. So was the goddess.
Well, at least this time round as well. 17,000 player damage on Weekend as well. Looking through the player damage, you can see it was all about the Agony. I think Agony just puts in so much work these days, and people do sleep on it now and again. We saw it banned in game 2.
Yeah, I think that Agony is just one of those safe picks. You're not really giving up anything by going for Agony. You're not tipping your hand at all, and he can fit just about any strategy.
And with that, Weekend will be the MVP for this game. No real surprises with how that slash line looked there. The Dargy really made an impact in this game. Forced a lot of the Splyce boys to go into those Magi's cloaks to try and protect themselves, but it still wasn't good enough.
And as I was talking about during picks and bans, it's the ability to not get knocked up by 72 transformations, but also Erlong Shen has no innate CC immunity. His ultimate doesn't give him any sort of way out of that dodgy ult.
And does that actually end up coming back then to Cyno in the fact that if you know he's going to go for a god like that, that you could pick against them? You know what I mean? This is what's happened here, that he's kind of telegraphed it. Cyno's done it so much now, like, well, Erlang's always a possibility. If they do that, we'll take dodgy.
Yeah, I think that does end up working against Cyno in this instance, where if you're playing the same things over and over again, but still finding success, that's great and all, but at some point a team is going to have some sort of game plan against you. And while dodgy isn't a hard counter, it's no op-wash to the Aphrodite in lane or anything like that, it is a decent matchup that then Weekend was able to understand exactly what his mindset was going to be going in. He knows how Cyno is going to play the Erlong Shen, how he's likely going to build the Erlong Shen, and is able to play around that beautifully.
Well, it's only Wednesday today so far, and we've still got 2 more days of SPL action as long as Minor League 2. A lot of good games in the SPL to look forward to. Specifically, I'm very much looking forward to Thursday. Really excited to see Dignitas versus Energy. What a big set that's going to be.
Man, Energy is like trying to prove that they're on the top of the food chain, right? And this is their opportunity to prove it up against Dignitas. Energy historically has done very well against Dig online. Can't think of the last time that Dig actually found a victory online against Energy. We'll see if tomorrow's the day.
We'll see United against LG. If LG can continue their winning ways after finding that win against Splyce, they will climb to 6th, as in 1 win on their total. And at the same time, though, it does mean that Splyce will sit still in that 3rd place spot, only based off game differential of that of Trifecta.
Splyce definitely probably upset with themselves after that set loss. I mean, Luminosity played very well, but like I said, if you're a top 2 team, that's a set you have to close out as Splyce. They continue to not be able to win game 3s. They've changed a lot of ways. They've had a lot of 2-0s so far in the summer split. Game 3 still seemingly a problem.
Well, if you're not up to date with how things are going in summer, this is kind of how the schedule looks for each week. We go Monday to Friday. Weekends, we rebroadcast all the SPL games. Monday morning, we kick things off with you and an Esports Weekly.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You should definitely check it out. We do our picks and everything like that, get our picks in. So if you
How's your picks going? Huh?
Pretty well this week, actually.
Are they?
I think so.
You sure?
Maybe.
Yeah, you changed your tune now,
well, hold on. You didn't pick LG to win this set either, did you?
No, but I did pick one earlier in the week that was going to be crap for.
Okay, well, I picked one that you didn't get later on. Just say
We'll find out.
You're the one who
I just wanted to me you real quick as well.
Me back.
But that's it. That's all we've got time for today. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Thursday's going to be an exciting European day. So many matches to look forward to all day. Make sure you tune in then. From everyone here at hi-rez Studios, have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Peach it.